gamma to a client's, for me, what I like to say is it's like getting an aha moment. It's like and it's interesting how we were talking in the pre-interview chat about how the gateway to gamma is theta. So you think like it isn't this progression, and actually
Right.
high beta is not a very pleasant place to be.
Right.
That's,
Right.
anxiety and like
Yeah.
rumination and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really getting that brain slowed down. Alpha, I think, is people think about that as like flow state, and theta is sort of that transition
Mm-hmm.
state in a very, I would say, complex and not as well understood. Theta is a
Yeah.
very misunderstood or not well understood area
Right.
of the brain. So let's kind of talk about that. And when I say aha moment, it's like you're kind of going into this like creative, flowy, mind wandering state that is theta, and all of a sudden, boom, like the best idea ever
Yeah.
comes
Yeah. What
into
they
your
say,
head.
Einstein would hold the metal balls in his hand, and when he'd start to fall asleep, when he was that kind of alpha theta crossover, that they would drop, and he'd write down whatever was in his thoughts at that time, because that's where the ideas would just kind of come to him, and he knew. Hey, what was I thinking in that moment when I was drifting into that theta alpha state? So I did read some article, and I just loved the way they characterized theta. They said that gamma ride theta is the magic carpet that carries gamma throughout all parts of the brain. And I just thought, ooh, that is so neat and and fascinating. And we were talking earlier about gamma, and I had just was reading a study about how gamma brainwaves. They were doing a study at Georgia Tech and Emory and MIT on gamma, and looking at how in mice it was destroying beta amyloid plaques, and then they threw in 20 hertz. Just to have a different frequency, and then they just did a random frequency, and they found that the 20 hertz seemed to affect Parkinson's, and it was affecting the immune response of the brain and the system, and it activated certain different immune responses and genes from with different frequencies. And and not an inflammatory, not a bad immune response, like a really a good response. So now they're doing it on human trials. Now they started for that at those different institutions. So I'm really I haven't seen what they've concluded from that, but of course I had to go out and get my own gamma stuff and start playing around with it. And what I also noticed was that when I took my glasses off, the leaves, I was outside laying in the pool, and I had my gamma light flashing and my sound, at the same 40 hertz. And I also had a little stem on that was 40 hertz. I might have just had the light and sound, but when I took it off after about 30 minutes, the leaves on the trees just looked 3D. Everything looked so much more vibrant and colorful. And I thought, this is not, I wasn't expecting that. And also gamma seems to heighten all your senses. So I just find that very fascinating and intriguing and lovely. And especially if you're trying to create, your reality and trying to help your brain see where you want to go. And you can get into that gamma state and lay there and just imagine it, or do it before you go to bed, and let your brain kind of convert that for you while you're sleeping with your theta. It's just fascinating, and it's fun. And I think another thing it gives people hope too, that they have a lot of control over what they do, and how they want to live and how they want to change. And I love how technology and science and medicine and how we all practice has come together so much. It's just a great time to be alive, because it's all right there, and it's so simple, and anybody can do it. You don't have to have, this is a little instrument that anybody can get, that they can do that. It's every day. I have little Google Scholar feeds that come up on my thing that you just tell me what's coming out. I don't even know if I should say that, because that just sounds so geeky for sure.
Oh,
But
I
it's
love
fun.
being geeky. And
Yeah.
talk about being geeky. Here we go. I just came up with a title for this episode. It's a draft title, and you can tell me if it's okay. But you were just talking about how this gamma experience, and don't worry, listeners, we will explain how she did that. And of course, you can work with Dr. Jacke because she works with clients remotely, and to get into that. But it sounded like this whole experience of looking at the leaves and being in nature and having that gamma experience was so fun. You used the word fun.
Mhm.
And my brand is all about